One thing that we discovered as a group is that if you do have two profiles, you can do a -- profile equals whatever the other one is. In this case, I'm just going to use the default one. But if you do happen to have two running, just make sure you're using that flag if you're using that one.
Does it actually have the equals in it?
It doesn't have the equals, just -- profile. Sweet. I, on the other hand, just blew my old accounts away for the purposes of this, so I won't need to because I live fast and dangerously. So, like I said, if you clone on the repo, we have a repo. It's great. You can use it. That's wonderful. If you have any other application that you would like to deploy, you can use that. This course is agnostic to what you want to deploy and more about how you actually go about deploying it. But I have effectively a create React app with just enough React router in it to cause some problems with not having static files for everything. And other than that, some lorem ipsum. It's not a lot going on. So we've got that in place. Now, you have this AWS command on your command line. It'll work with almost all the services. In this case, we want, for S3, there's actually ls like there is in Bash or what have you. At which point I could say, OK, show me the contents of S3 : / what is it, superawesome.click. And you can see the one file from today is in there, that index.html that I had uploaded. Right? Sweet. Now, we could want to put some other stuff in there as well. There's a bunch of different commands that you can play around with. But we're going to go with, we're in an app. We're ready to rock and roll. And so we'll do an npm run build. And that's, again, this is just create React app. In my case, if there's another application you want to build, your npm script might be slightly different. This is the one that builds this file. And it will go ahead and spit it out. And it says, look, the build folder is ready to be deployed. Well, that's incredibly convenient, for I am ready to deploy it. And so from the command line, we can do AWS S3. And we'll copy that build directory to S3 : / superawesome.click. In my case, but whatever your bucket name is, you do not have permission to deploy to my bucket because of my policy. You can get stuff from my bucket. You cannot put stuff in my bucket. I'm going to do -- recursive in this case. I don't think there are subdirectories in that build folder, but that will iterate down all of the different folders. Cool. I'm going to, just for the people in the room, move that up slightly. So that's what we have, and then I'm going to hit the button. And you can see that it is going through and uploading all of my various assets that are in that directory up to S3.
What node version are you on?
Probably the current LTS 16. That shouldn't matter. Because I don't think that has changed. Effectively, yeah, I guess for building the application, it might actually matter. But for the actual AWS CLI, it won't. So we've got that in place. And now we can go back over to our bucket. And we'll go to the S3 bucket here as well. Back over to objects. Give that page a refresh. And you can see that I have all of the files that I uploaded. In this case, you can also see that the index.html is from the same time as all the rest of the files, which means it overwrote that one we uploaded by hand, and it is also twice the size. So now I should be able to go back down and revisit this site. And here it is. It's got a bunch of different lorem ipsums. You can choose your favorite later, as well as a very large picture of the Beatles that took a few seconds to load, or a few milliseconds as well. It has some problems. You'll notice that very angry, not secure up there. It's not HTTPS. My URL leaves something to be desired. Right? There's some piece of it. It says superawesome.click .s3 -website -us east -1 .amazonaws.com. Also, if I go to one of these, it's like client-side route. You can see node zombie. If I actually hit that, that file doesn't exist. The client-side routing took care of it with the history API. But if I go to that file, it fundamentally breaks the web, right? And we talked a little bit before how S3 was a key value store. You'd be like, there's no such key called whatever that is, /notes/zombie in this case. So we should fix that at some point, because like our URL should probably work. At the very least, that's not the greatest error, but they should also just kind of work in this case. So we should have some of that in place as well. So there's a lot to be desired here. It's also currently hosted out of US East 1. So if you are pulling this particular URL up from a place that is not close to Virginia, like it will get progressively longer to load depending on how far away you are from that location. So we have the ability now to build an application, deploy it onto Amazon. But the kind of rest of our focus now is, one, operationalizing that, so we're not doing it by hand. Two, fix a bunch of problems around the HTTPS, the routing, the URL itself, the location, all of those pieces as well. That's the kind of next kind of piece of this, is to get all of those parts in place.